The truth about Lee Trevino that finally has come out. At 81 years old, Lee is finally ready to speak the truth, discover what controversy surrounding him has finally been resolved. Ready to find out the truth? We scan through the pages of the PGA Tour, Golf Week, and Golf Digest to learn what steps in his golf career Lee is regretful about. Let us together see what triggered him to kiss and tell. Who is he and what makes him a golf legend? He is a six-time golf major champion with 92 professional wins, including 29 PGA Tour victories under his belt. For his Hispanic heritage, Lee is referred to as the Merry Mex of golf. Perhaps the reference also holds true for his legendary charisma and humor. One time, he famously threw a rubber snake at Jack Nicklaus at the 1971 U.S. Open playoff as a prank. He is one of only 4 players to have won the Open Championship, U.S. Open, and PGA Championship twice. He won the Open in 1968 and 1971, the U.S. Open in 1971 and 1972, and the PGA in 1974 and 1984. By winning the U.S. Open, Canadian Open, and the Open Championship in 1971, he made history as being one of only 2 players to do so, the other fellow being Tiger Woods. Inducted in the World Golf Hall of Fame in 1981, Lee is ranked as the 14th greatest golfer of all time in 2000 by Golf Digest. With his $9.9 million in tournament winnings, he is on the list of the top 30 golfers as far as all-time career earnings are concerned. He has an estimated net worth of $50 million. In addition to these golf earnings, Lee also made significant real estate investments. An example of this would be his 1996 purchase of a luxurious mansion in the prestigious Preston Hollow neighborhood in Dallas, which he later on sold in 2019 for $7.5 million. These investments, however, cannot compare to the tens of millions of dollars he made from the brand endorsements he made during his illustrious career. Lee's contributions to the golf sport extend beyond his playing career. What made him a beloved figure in the history of the sport is not only his skill and resilience, but more for his charm and wit. Why did he boycott the Masters tournament for 3 years? In 1970, 1971, and 1974, he boycotted and rejected the invites from the Masters tournament. He attributed his rejection to his not liking the course. He maintained that he was convinced that he couldn't play the 36-hole course very well. His left-to-right ball flight was ill-suited for the course. In 1974, he decided to go fishing rather than play the event. His move baffled many in the golf community. They thought it was a flimsy excuse as he held the lead twice over the years that he played. In a 2023 interview in an episode of Golf Subpar, he finally decided to tell the truth behind his boycott. It was not a boycott of the Masters event, but a boycott of Cliff Roberts, the Masters co-founder and tournament chairman. His conflict with Cliff was deeply rooted as it happened on the very first time that he was in Augusta in 1968. They shared a dislike of one another. In 1970, golf players in Augusta were allocated a number of tickets intended for their family and friends who they wanted to accompany them during play. Lee, having exhausted his tickets, wanted to buy additional gallery tickets for his 4 friends, including Neil Harvey, his caddy. Unfortunately, he was not allowed to because of the ticket allocation per player. The icing to the cake was when the security guard wanted to kick his caddy out. Lee eventually ended up complaining to Cliff about the incident. After not getting the resolution he wanted in his altercation with Cliff, he decided to remove himself altogether from the Masters event. Other than calling Cliff a dictator, he referred to the Augusta golfers as gutless for not rebelling against the strict tournament rules set up by Cliff. Lee's feelings were not without basis. Back in the old days, Augusta was considered a blatantly racist club with blatantly racist club policies. Women and people of color were excluded from becoming members based on the strict rules and regulations of the club. There was an aura of privilege and elitism surrounding Augusta. Lee's boycott of the Masters event has been a subject of much debate and speculation. While some applauded him for his principled stand against the perceived injustice he received, others criticized him for sour graping from his lack of Masters success and missing out on his major opportunities to complete his Grand Slam. The boycott remains a constant reminder of the clash of his personal values with the traditional norms of the sport. Did he ever get to play in Augusta again? It was Jack Nicklaus who talked him into playing in the Masters again. He finally returned to play in 1972. Lee never was comfortable playing in the Masters, going as far as storing his shoes and gear in his car's trunk and changing his shoes in the parking lot rather than entering the locker room and the clubhouse. When Cliff sent an invitation for a coffee break, Lee said he didn't drink coffee. Their love-hate relationship seemed to infinitely continue. His best Augusta results came in 1975 and 1984, where he ended up with a tie for 10th place. At the 1989 Masters, Lee opened with a 67, giving him a first-round lead. After following it with a 74, he still got to share the lead after the second round. Unfortunately, he blew up the third round with an 81, but made a comeback shooting a 69 in the final round. After finishing with a tie for 18th, he was invited back the next year. Tying for 24th at the 1990 Masters, he got another invitation. The 1991 Masters was his last, where he finished tied for 49th. After all is said and done, Lee expressed regret in boycotting the Masters. He said it was his fault, he was short-fused and shouldn't have lost his cool. He talks too much, and a person who talks too much like him never listens to what other people are telling him. A bad habit which he says his wife, Claudia, has tamed him out of. He even went further to say that he considered Augusta to be the 8th wonder of the world. While it was not a great golf course and never will be, it's a great venue with a tremendous amount of history. In the twilight of his years, Lee is a picture of wisdom and a perspective that comes with age. He is a wiser man who acknowledges both his triumphs and missteps in his molding to become one of the true legends of the sport. It is a humbling gesture for Lee to acknowledge a mistake he believes he committed in the past, but it would be a greater mistake for you to not proceed to the next video to get another golf feature that was meant for your exclusive delight.
He said, you know, he said, when I got married, he said, my wife made me a millionaire. I said, man, that's great. He said, but I was a multi-millionaire before I got married. Hey.